not able to make it, it looks like. So this is going to be for about service. But these are some of the questions that you had for me the other day. George said this is perfect for you. I'm going to get started. We're going to cover the latest and greatest of the latest CRM updates from Release Wave 2. I'll introduce myself, Pamela Bestie. I'm the solution lead with for Dynamics CRM for our practice, our covenant practice. And you guys already know this. I've been implementing Dynamics for 15 years. So always excited to share the new stuff coming out and learn about it myself. Today, I'm going to go into a more deep dive demo of Sales Accelerator. And then I'm going to touch on Microsoft Teams and the Dynamics 365 integration that's coming out. I'm also going to briefly touch on Voice for Customer Service. That's going to be one it's a really huge area. So coming up in a 2022 webinar, we'll focus more on that one and dig into that a little deeper. And then we've got and more. So there's some new things that have come out that I'm going to highlight and show you that maybe you've seen, but haven't really focused on it yet and don't really know enough about it yet. So I'll cover some of that today. So to get started, I'm going to cover what's available with the Sales Accelerator today. And I'm going to work with me here. I'm going to read off of these, and then I'll tell you what I think it all means. So what's available is focus sellers on the right actions with work list ownership enhancement, boost sales productivity using an intelligent work list, leverage the power of LinkedIn actions as part of a smart sequence. And unfortunately, I won't be able to demo that for you today. I don't have that enabled in my environment. Manage better sales process outcomes for sequences using grid view, improve seller productivity with bulk actions, build better relationships with automation and structured workflows with sequence management. Now, if you're like me, when I read these coming soon for the release waves, I'm like, okay, what does all that mean? Give me a little bit more detail. Well, the biggest thing about Sales Accelerator is that it provides a tailored experience for your sellers by minimizing the times they spend in their search for the best next customer activity they need to attack. So it's going to bring up the most recent leads that they need to focus on, the biggest opportunities that they need to focus on, and it gathers information from multiple sources to let them focus on their best approach for their next customer. It helps sellers by building a strong, prioritized pipeline that offers context and surfaces automated recommendations through a sales sequence. So I'm going to pop over to my demo to show you Sales Accelerator. When you first enable Sales Accelerator, it's going to be the first thing that will pop up as your home. So you'll see it under My Work. And if you click on anything else and click Home, it's always going to default back to Sales Accelerator. And watch it not. I'm just going to show you a little bit. One of the first things I'm going to do, so I have more screen. Now I've got a big screen, but if you're working from a small screen, you can always collapse your navigation. So you're just working in your Sales Accelerator environment. The Sales Accelerator is giving me that work list. This is that work list that those previous new items, components are working towards. The work list provides us a list of, now this is divided up into lead and opportunity. And I just have to say, this is how often Microsoft is updating things. Last night, it didn't filter this way for me. So they changed it frequently. But this is divided into my lead nurturing and into my opportunity nurturing. And I can also see any of my, if I have an introduction email that I need to send out, those are going to be divided up for me as well. I can filter in. The reason why these are showing up first is because I do have predictive lead scoring and I have predictive opportunity scoring turned on. What those do, you can, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. What those do, you can set it up for however you need to close business. So right now I have the predictive lead and predictive opportunity scoring set up just out of the box functionality. I think for leads, it's based on the leads source. For opportunity, I have it based on the sales stage. So however your company, whatever your experience is to close business, you could set your predictive opportunity scoring based off of that. The key to the Sales Accelerator is to help your company move through the sales process and close your business effectively. So offering that predictive scoring for both your leads and opportunity kind of helps you get there. So going back into the work list, what I can see here is here's my leads, and I can scroll down and see my opportunities. I can filter, so I can filter by my unopened if I follow them. So if I click on any of these, there's a little icon here and I can select follow. I can skip this lead if I know, yeah, I don't want to work on that one. I can snooze them, or I can assign them to someone else. I can also say that this introduction mail is marked as complete. I can sort by my due date, score, name, etc., and I can sort through alphabetized. And then in this ellipsis, you'll see that there's a couple new settings here. Bulk email. If I want to send that introduction email to multiple people at the same time, I can click bulk email. Then I can select the people I want to send that introduction email to. As soon as I click bulk email, if you have this turned on in your environment, the email, and it's not turning on for me, is supposed to open, but the hover email is supposed to open. It's got a default, there we go, has a default template that will come up, but if you want to use another template, you can always change that template and insert a new template. Then I can send this out. Now you'll see this recipient list. Those people will not see each other in that to field. They'll just see their own name. So you can then send to all, and it bulk sends like you're kind of doing a marketing email. So going back here, I can exit out of that. You'll see I'm right now I'm on Alex Baker. I'm going to go back to Hallie Griffiths, and in the record for Hallie Griffiths, I now see this new section called Up Next. Well, that is what that sequence functionality is looking at. In this sequence, and you can build this however you wish to process through your opportunities and your leads. I can first have, okay, I want to do an introduction email. Okay, I've done that introduction email. I'm going to go ahead and click Mark Complete. So right here from this interface, I can click Mark Complete. Now you'll see I have a reminder email that is coming up next. Well, for this purposes, I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So I'm going to select the ellipsis next to this wait. And I'm going to click skip wait time. Mark it as complete. And now I can call my customer. So the next thing in line will be 4 days after I do my reminder email, and my next sequence is going to be that I'm going to call that customer. And again, this sequence can be anything that you want it to be, however you need to move forward to close that deal or qualify your lead. So I'm going to skip this again on the wait time. And if I click on this button for call, I'm worried it will pause me in this call, so I'm not going to click that. But what will happen when you have Teams calling integrated with this, it will open up the dialer and call the number for you, so you've started a Teams call with that person. Once you're done, you click Mark Complete, and it continues on in your sequence. You can go through what your previous steps were to see your history. And then if you scroll down, let me close that. If you scroll down into your timeline, you'll see those behaviors or those activities also show up in your timeline, so you can still see that activity. Let me think of what was the next thing. Oh, so I want to show you the availability. So we're going to go into one of the things that is provided too is you could do your settings to show your availability. So if you're out of the office for a couple hours one day, you can set that you're out of the office on a calendar. Now, it doesn't currently look at your Outlook calendar. So yes, you would have to set up your working schedule in the Sales Accelerator. So what I did yesterday is I went in and I put a new sequence, my working hours, I set my date for those working hours, and I repeated it. So you can do all day, you could set capacity if you wanted to, or you could do where I'm going to repeat, say this is every day, and choose the days that you want to mark when you're available. Now, I could put non-working hours as my Saturdays and Sundays, but it is a separate piece. So if I do, it's actually just going to be per day. So if I wanted to say I'm not working on the 20th from 8 to, let's do 8 to 10. Say you have a doctor's appointment, I can set that as a non-working hour for the 20th. And then when I get scheduled an activity, it will not schedule me for that day. It will, if it schedules that activity for that day, it will wait until I'm available again for when that activity is due or when it will show up in my list of up next. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Yes. Is all that acceleration, is that part of the timeline?
So the accelerator is additional to the timeline. So the only thing that shows up in the timeline is when you've completed or created those activities, then it will show up in your timeline. So you can see that I perform those activities. I do have a phone call that is showing as active, but that was not created based on this.
The reason
I already did.
Asked is we've put the timeline on its own tab.
Right.
So would that be where the acceleration part of it goes also?
You can put your sequence. So this is the up next sequence, and you can put that anywhere on your form. I think it makes sense to have it on the main screen for your users, but that's completely up to you. The up next should probably show on your main screen.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to ask because, like I said, we moved the timeline to its own tab.
Right.
So if it was going to go there, I just didn't know if it was its own.
You can put it wherever you want it to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would probably make most sense to have it in the opportunities and the leads so that it's right there and visible, and just like you have it here, right?
Right. And let me show you
then,
in an opportunity.
And then quick question for you. So when you have those like wait 5 days, wait 4 days, is that something that automatically the Sales Accelerator creates, or is that something we have to define what the amount of time is?
So this was a default sequence.
Okay.
When as soon as you enable Sales Accelerator, you can use the default sequences that are provided, or you can create your own. You can create your own in addition to the default, and then you set those up for, you can base it on your sales stages. You can base it on, well, you can base it on sales stages is what I did for this one, but you can base it on however you're going to work through your sales process. And what are the activities? The key thing about this is what are the activities you need to do to touch base with that client. And one of the things I want to show you, but I'm not sure why it's not letting me get into my, this is showing me yesterday. So let me click home again. Why am I not seeing my opportunities? I want to see my opportunities. So here are my opportunities. And one of the things that I think is beneficial for the sequences, when you're closing an opportunity, you usually follow a process. So you're following your business process flow. These are it's like you're recording what needs to be captured in order to close this business. That's what I consider a business process flow. Way back in 3.0, when CRM was fresh and new, it used to be before business process flow, it used to be sales stages, and you would do these activities, part of that as part of those sales stages to complete them. I kind of look at the sequences, they're going back to that because that was missed for people. So okay, I need to qualify that. If I click on that, that's going to take me back to the lead, but I'll click on the development stage. Okay, in order to be in development, I need to make sure I've got the customer need. I need to propose the solution. Well, how do I do that? What are the steps? What are the activities behind those pieces that I need to check off? So I see that sequence going, working hand in hand with your stages in your business process flows.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And you can build them out however you want to, however it helps you to get to that close of business. So I'm going to expand my screen here again and show you just one other thing. Unfortunately, because this is demo stuff, my little dots are all in one place. But this is Deal Manager. This is another dashboard that your opportunities, you can view your sales team can view their opportunities, see what's going on in the pipeline. And then if they want to edit their opportunities, they can go into this editable grid and go through and update their statuses when it lets me. So that's not letting me change that, but I could go and rename my topic. I can click here and change my pipeline phase and move it to the next phase. I can change my probability. So this lets your sellers also see real quick what's going on in their pipeline, but then they can go back and look at their sales accelerator to know what's next on their list. And this is going to be, obviously, I own all of these records here. So it's going to be specific for, well, I don't own that one. But I did some activity here, so that's why that's showing up for me. But they could see all of the activities or leads and opportunities that are showing up in their pipeline. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to move on and show you what is coming out with Sales Accelerator. The next one's coming out, automatically route leads will let you, the first one, automatically route leads to the right sellers to improve lead qualification outcomes. That's going to let you define rules for automatic assignment using segments, lead attributes, and selling attributes. So it's going to be a little bit more intense than what I just showed you, a little bit more deep dive. Focus on the highest impact activities with advanced filtering and sorting. That's going to enable sellers to filter information based on standard and custom fields. So you can use custom fields, not just out of the box. Quickly implement sequences using ready to use and pre-configured templates based on industry best practices. That's what's cool about that. Proven business processes to help you define a consistent approach to connect with customers. So that's what that's going to let you do. Those first two are coming out in January. The next two are coming out in February. The coach sellers with manager dashboards, improve seller efficiency with seller KPIs. That's going to be that dealer manager area workspace. Improve seller productivity with better quality leads with data hygiene. It's just helping you clean your leads. That's the biggest thing. What's the one thing that we always run into? Not being able to have clear, concise data. It helps eliminate anything that they don't really need. Say a lead just came in and they don't want to get it in their pipeline maybe until it's assigned to them. So it just cleans that out. And then easier setup experience. And Paul, I'll show you this real quick. I wasn't going to show this, but I'm going to show you this real quick. In the Sales Accelerator setup, you just go into Sales Insight settings. And watch it make a layer on me. And then setup. And it's so easy. You just click through and click next to get through everything. It defines your team access, your seller availability. When I click on these, you'll see that little next. I assign this to all security roles. No other client would really do that. You would just do it for your sales teams and your system admin usually, so that they can go in and troubleshoot anything. If I go into seller activity, you can also enable it for your CRM calendar and Outlook calendar. I don't have that enabled in this environment. You can automate your lead opportunity assignments. So that's setting up who they can assign those leads and opportunities to. And there's assignment rules. There's so much involved in this, but it is easy. It does take you to where you need to go to do your setups. You'll also see there's segments and sequences that I can build out. So I can segment. Let me show you one of the segments real quick. Yeah, I didn't do any new ones. Oh, I did. I did this lead from WebSource, but the rest of these were really the out of the box assign opportunity solution lead. I didn't really do anything different there based on the out of the box. And these are your incoming opportunities and leads. That was the out of the box one that was created. So lots of detail, but it's all right here and easy to get to once you turn on your Sales Insights. So I'm going to move on. Do you guys have any questions about the Sales Accelerator? And I do need to say Sales Accelerator is not included with the Sales Enterprise license. It is a add-on for Sales Insights, or if you move that license to the Sales Premium, then it's included with that. And that is something you can just license, even if you have Sales Enterprise for just support people. They could keep that Sales Enterprise if they don't need to go into the Sales Accelerator. You could just use that for your sales team. So I'm going to cover a little bit of Teams basic collaboration. This is currently available out of the box. It's not currently set up in my demo environment, so I'm going to do a little screen prints here for you. To turn this on, there is a section that you would go to, and I think I showed you guys that before. In your you go into the administrator tab and then into system settings, and you enable Teams basic collaboration. And then in order to enable Teams enhanced collaboration, you do need to have a global admin turn that on for you. Once you have this enabled just for the basic, you can go into Teams and add a customer engagement app tab to a channel in Microsoft Teams. So for example, I created a Teams called Test Collaboration. I created a channel for Jane Austen, and then I clicked on the plus sign and clicked to add Jane. I connected into Dynamics. And I don't have that screen print, unfortunately. I connected into Dynamics, and then I was able to add Jane. So actually, let me show you this real quick in my other environment. So I can click here. I'm in a channel I want to add this to. I click on the plus sign. I click Dynamics, and then I can connect to any environment that I have accessible. So I already am connected here. So here's my Dynamics app. This is my demo environment. I'm going to click on Abraham. And then I'm just going to connect to him. Oh, this is if you have a owner of a record, it will usually suggest that you add them. But if you set this as a public channel, you don't need to do that. If it's a private channel, then you would need to select what owners or users in your system should be added to that channel.
So who are you adding right now? Are you adding a customer, or you're adding a colleague?
So this person is a customer, and they're a record in my Dynamics. So I created a team in Teams with a channel, so I can talk to people in my company regarding talk about Abraham. I could do this for an opportunity instead, or a lead, and we could have a communication and collaborate on that.
Okay.
So this is that basic collaboration,
Okay,
where
so
I can show this.
You're not giving access to the customer contact.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would be, so you're talking about something that is coming out. All of basic collaboration right now is available now. The enhanced collaboration that I'll go over next is available now, but there's some functionality that is coming out, and I'll highlight when those are available coming up. But They talked about this in Ignite, that they will make it possible for people who are in teams to be able to collaborate and see data from Dynamics. Now, one person had mentioned that that could be customers. I have not heard anything more on that yet, so that's still TBD. Okay, so this is the basic collaboration. Let me go back. With the enhanced collaboration, and unfortunately, I can only demo this in our Covenant environment, so I've got screen prints for you here. From a Dynamics record, and I will show you, I could be on Kenya Brady and select, oops, that's not going to show me here. Let me go to Abby Gardner. And in my ribbon, I can select Collaborate. Now that should bring up this same interface here. So I click on Collaborate. The first thing that's going to happen, you'll get this window, Collaborate with Microsoft Teams. You'll click Get Started. And then what it will do is look for a team that you can connect to, or you can create a new connection. Click Start Collaboration. Then the next window will show you which team channel, or if you need to create a new team. So it gives you that option. And then I click Next. That will take me through. It's going to actually show you that same screen that you were on before, where it's going to show you this same screen where you're going to see that team created or that channel created under that team that you connected to, and then you'll see a tab for that record that way as well. So that's the enhanced collaboration. What's coming up next is with the latest functionality that's coming out is Microsoft's going to work towards releasing the chat collaboration. It was currently in preview. There's some issues that I was having with it earlier today. So they're still working through it. When it's in preview, unfortunately, it can go down. This is the view from the Teams chat view, but you can also be in the record in Dynamics and see that chat view in Dynamics. And so here's the screen print I grabbed to display that. So within Dynamics, there's a new little icon up here and that's your chat. And you enable chat and collaboration is a new feature that you can enable within your Dynamics sales. Once you enable it, you can see a list of already linked contacts, but then the other chats, those are going to be those other chats that you already have in Teams with your coworkers. But I can link a chat and pull it up for this record, can have a conversation with somebody else in my company regarding this account, and then it's capturing that account detail within Teams for me, and I can always pull it up and open it within Teams. Do you have any questions on that? So we'll talk about when all of that's going to be available. Unfortunately, you'll see a lot of blanks under that general availability. We've got public previews coming out in February for easily edit a Dynamics 365 record within a Teams conversation. So that's going back to being in that team page, and then I can open that record and I can edit it. Keep additional stakeholders in the loop, but well, actually that first thing you can really do now with the basic collaboration, but it's just you if you are a user in Dynamics at this time. Keep additional stakeholders in the loop by sending them automated chat notifications from Dynamics. That's what I was just showing you with the chat. Seamlessly add activities and notes to Dynamics records from Teams channel or chat that I'm looking forward to. Share Dynamics 365 records in Microsoft Teams message. So some of these are, I will definitely set up another call to demo all of that because I'm one of those, I got to see it first. Drive seller productivity with a seamless experience between Dynamics 365 and Microsoft Teams meeting. That's coming out in March. And again, that's okay. What exactly is that? I'll let you guys know. Quickly add relevant stakeholders to Microsoft Teams chat using suggested contacts. It says it's in public preview January and general availability in March. Some of that I'm already seeing with the chat and collaboration, so I want to get a little bit more detail on what that is. Collaborate with key stakeholders using Microsoft Teams chat from within Dynamics 365. Again, I think that's that piece that maybe they don't have to be users of Dynamics. So I will let you know more when I can get that to work right. It was available in November. Unfortunately, that's not working today because, again, when it's a preview, they take it down, make changes. Sometimes they break it. So does anybody have any questions on that?
Wait and see.
Yeah. So I do want to hit up the omni-channel voice for customer service. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Yay, Sandy, you're here. This is a big product, okay? So it's going to be really cool. I've been looking at IVR stuff for other clients in order to integrate with their, well, let me take that back. I've been looking at this capability to integrate with clients' IVRs, and that Teams or that Microsoft is going to do this through this is the omni-channel voice. This is exciting stuff, but they'll be able to do, you know, call controls for the agent, put them on hold with music. That's always cool. Integrated customer and case history lookup. The call routing is all there. The AI is that it's capturing like the sentiment. Transcription that's going to be key because then it will record that with that record for that case record or the contact that's calling in. No code virtual agent, which is that's going to be a webinar coming up. I'll talk about. Supervisors can consult and transfer. They can monitor and barge in. That's very exciting. And the ability to record and manage those phone calls. And then, of course, you can do post-call surveys, queue position and wait times, and the analytics behind this look really, really cool. So in an upcoming webinar in 2022, probably January, February, I will go more in depth on this one. The one thing I did want to say is the capabilities were released in November for this. However, it's not currently available in the government cloud. And the date set for that is to be announced, unfortunately. But with Azure Directory routing, it's going to be able to integrate with third-party interactive voice response. So that's your IVR. It can integrate with any third-party IVR. So that's exciting. I'm very excited to announce that. So here's our and more. I'm going to go over some of the grid column view changes that you may have seen. We're going to talk about relevant search and enabling, and then I'm going to cover some updates for the Power Apps portal updates versus classic view. So I'm going to go back to this one. I'll just open I'm going to close that one. So I don't know if you guys had noticed, but there was a time, if you had the early preview turned on, there was a time where you would see, instead of the check mark, it was little circles, and then the alphabet sorting down here went away. So that, again, whenever you turn on preview, you do risk having things go away. So I always recommend turning on preview in a sandbox environment and checking things out there before you put it in a production environment. But this all looks the same. However, you'll notice that in your views, they've removed the pins. And now to set a default view, so this one is active contacts. I'm going to change it to my active contacts. Select all the way down at the bottom. We've got set current view as my default. So that's one change. Your pins are no longer here to set as your default. And I'm not changing that one. The other thing that they've added here is column options. So you can, if you're on a view, and actually let me go back to active contacts. If you're on a view and I'm looking, here's full name, email, company name, business phone, but I don't have when was this created. So if I want to add created on date, I don't have to scroll through, but I can. But I can also search created on, and then select my created on, click close, and then I can move that wherever I want in my grid. I'm going to leave it at the back end here, and then that displays. However, you'll see you now have an asterisk next to the active contacts. That's because this is not going to save if I go away from it. In order to save that, I just go to my ellipsis, go to the create view, select that little arrow, and then I'm going to click save as new view. Now this will become a personal view. Again, your active contacts are your system views. This will become my personal view, and I'm going to add that view as with created on. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to refresh and walk away from this. Okay, so
That's nice. I can't tell you how many times I wish we could do that now.
to be able to save the view?
No, to do it from that page though, just go up and click that you want to add a column and just
Right.
do something for a minute, even if you don't want to save the view.
You should be able to see that now. Do you see it?
Not that little icon. I have to go into the view itself and edit the columns.
So we can talk offline, but I wonder if the latest release stuff has been delayed for you guys. So
Okay.
we could talk about that. Okay. Okay, so that just saved my view. Now, when I select my list of views, that added it as a personal view for me. So that'll save you time from going into Advanced Find a lot. I still promote Advanced Find. And that is one thing I did want to talk about briefly, because I'm going to click on it and then walk away from it. Advanced Find, remember, it is indexing everything, all of your tables. So it is taking a little bit longer. Now it lied to me, made me a liar. But the more tables and entities and add-ons you have in your system, it does take a little bit longer the very first time you get into Advanced Find. If you notice that. If you don't notice that, hey, you're golden. So, okay, the other thing I wanted to cover is we all know how you get into your, actually, I'm going to show you first. To go into advanced settings, it takes you to the classic view. And then when you want to look at your default solution, again, you'll never do this when you're in production. You click on customizations and then click on customize the system. And this is your default solution. So you can see all of your tables, etc. Well, one of the things that's new that Microsoft finally got to do is they added this same functionality into the Power Apps portal. So I'm going to click on solutions. First, you need to make sure you're in your correct environment. Click on solutions, and then I'm going to go ahead and click default. Oh no, I'm on environment, sorry. There we go. Sorry. Then when I click on my default solution, now it used to be, you can see me holding my hand up, but you can't see that I'm covering up the left side. It takes a little while to load because again, it's your default solution, but it used to be that you could only see this whole section over here. Now they're adding in those components, those same components that you can see in the classic view. Let me show you that again. So if we open this solution, most of these components you'll see here. So I could even scroll all the way down and click on my tables. That's going to be the same as my entities. I can look for, let's see if we can find model-driven apps here though. Yeah, that they still don't have added here. But I can see my dashboards. Let's see, our processes are here. So some of the same functionalities and components that are in your base solution show up here. Now that I just did this as my default view, you can also do the same thing looking at any other solutions that you add into your system. Like if you're editing tables or entities, you create that as a solution so you can move it to your production. You can do the same thing now in the Power Apps portal. So very good. I do want to show you one other thing. You'll notice that there's a new search, and I've had a lot of people say, what happened to that relevant search? Because I could filter on that. I could do more with that. I'm going to find a more, let's do Smith. Hopefully they have Smiths. Okay, let's do Annie. No. John, Jack. One. Okay. So if I'm looking for a common name, this is sample data. If I'm looking for a common name, that will still show up here, but you'll see that I've got, let me do a better, okay, lots of sample data has someone. So you'll see that what used to be in the relevant search does show up here at the top, where you can filter through the entities that get returned that you have selected to be returned and searched through. So that will give you your count up here at the top. If I click on contacts, I'll see those 14 contacts. If I click on accounts, I'll see those 10 accounts. Just like if I'm doing a task, and let me see if I didn't save that. Let me do, so here's emails. If I'm doing a task and I'm searching for something under an activity, no, that just took me to that email. So unfortunately, I don't have a good activity to show you, but when you're sorting through the activities, you can still sort by date. Those filters are still here. Now, in order to set this up and make sure that you've got your global search turned on, you will go into the Power Platform first. You'll select your environment. So I'm going to select the correct environment that I want to turn my global search on for. I'm going to click Settings, and then I'm going to go to Product and Features. And then over here on the left, on the right, you're going to see the search. You just want to make sure that's enabled, and it's now called Dataverse Search. So instead of it being called Relevant Search or Categorized Search, which, by the way, the Categorized Search is still part of this, that's going to be used when you're doing your quick view lookups. That's going to be used when you're searching in the grid. But the Dataverse Search is going to be that new global search. Now you enable it here, but in order to index and set where you want to search, you'll go back into your Power Apps portal. And I wanted to go back to my default solution. And instead of being in my objects, I'm going to click on Overview. And then you'll see over here, it's going to load the columns that I've indexed for my search. I'll be able to edit clicking here, or also up in the ribbon, it will display. And then you can select that area and select the entities that you want to be included in your global search. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Well, we have time for Q&A, but if there are no questions, I can move past that. And we'll just talk real quick, a couple of the sessions that we have coming up that we want to tackle. Dig deeper into the voice for customer service. And then I thought it would be a cool thing to dig into chatbots and the AI builder. So that's that intelligence. If you do want to have that support, that AI support before anybody actually calls into an agent, and we can cover that in another session. Then we're also going to start including our finance latest and greatest. We have a new solution lead for our finance group, and that's Lise Mason, and she's going to start doing some of these as well. Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate your time. And we've got this recorded, so we'll share this in case anybody from your group couldn't make it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Pamela.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Pamela.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.